Okay, so this meeting of the Barnstable Infrastructure and Energy Committee is being recorded and will be posted for future viewing on the Town of Barnstable website. Under Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 20, anyone else desiring to make such a recording or transmission must notify the chair. So with that, I will turn it over to you, Barry.
Okay. Let's try to go through this. I believe Chris may have to leave in about half an hour, so we're gonna try to move through this. So let's go to the minutes of the last meeting. And I just have one minor correct. I see Ron has joined us.
Hey everyone, sorry.
Hi Ron, yeah, we're just getting started here. So we're going to the minutes. So on page 4, where it has assigned tasks, and under Barry Scheingold, the way it's worded talks about having speakers address concerns regarding the stretch code, and that sounds a little bit negative. So I was thinking about changing the language so it's more neutral. So what I would suggest, organize individuals to speak, deleting speakers to address concerns. So it would read, organize individuals to speak at the September Town Council meetings regarding the stretch code.
Yep.
Okay. So yeah, everything else seemed fine. So with that change, I'm good with it. Anyone else? Any comments?
That's a good change. I appreciate that. So I move we approve the minutes from the 11th of August.
Second.
All in favor? John, are you?
I'm in favor.
Okay. Thank you. All right, so the minutes are approved.
Great, thank you.
All right, so the update. So the first read of the stretch code passed at the September 4th meeting. There was only one vote against, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the people who vote at the first read will vote at the second read when it really counts. So the hearing is scheduled at October 9th. We'll start at 6. So here's kind of my understanding of the process. So they have the public comment session that they have for at every meeting, and people can speak at the public comment session. They can send letters, emails to the town councilors. But there will also be a public hearing once the agenda item is called. We don't know yet where it'll stand on the agenda. Yeah, so we'll find out, I guess, a number of days before the meeting. But at the public hearing, people will be allowed to speak who want to speak. And how they do this is a little bit to be determined. But the staff is there to answer questions from the town councilors. In the document that went with the stretch code for the September 4th meeting, it did indicate that the town manager is supporting adoption, which is, I guess, a good thing, at least from my perspective. And I think we may or may not have a role or an ability to answer questions along with the staff, depending how they decide to do this. And as was said before, Jane, that we've been talking to some people who are potential participants in this as well. Let's see. Is Gordon? I see Gordon's not on the call. Okay. So that's, that's kind of a summary. And does anyone else have any questions or discussion?
Barry, I would just say that a lot of the people that supported either made comments, public comments, or had sent notes when we actually presented the workshop are still very engaged. They're very interested. So I think we will likely have a few people that are willing to speak again. And Kelly, I think you made a what seems to me like a good suggestion, which is to summarize the key points we want to make in a email to the whole town council in advance, probably fairly, soon in advance of the meeting, not now, but the week of the next town council meeting, so that they have an idea of the points to be made and they can think about it a bit. And I'm pleased, and I'm trying to remember, Barry, if your comment that you made in the summer, did that cover both the state's funding change or the utility rate change so that electric customers will benefit this winter, and that also the gas line for new construction is now going to be a homeowner or a builder expense?
Yeah,
or
so what
covered?
what I did, trying to recall the exact time, but it was a month or two ago. And really at Kelly's suggestion. So what I did is I sent an update regarding DPU proceedings that are relevant. And then I summarized that in person at a town council meeting. But that was for the Eversource proposal for heat pump rates that were proposed to go into effect this November. And talked about the Eversource proposal, and also talked about another proceeding in which there's a proposal by DOER and a group of state agencies, a working group, that would, if adopted, would have even a further reduction in heat pump rates, but that would be effective for the next heating season, November 2026. So what I plan to do on next is to provide basically a further update. So what's happened is the the Department of Public Utilities did adopt the Eversource proposal with some relatively minor changes. Eversource has now submitted a tariff on that. That's posted a summary of what the rates would be and what the rate reductions would be. So that's okay. I'm just looking at the note here, but the so what's happened is now the Department of Public Utilities has now adopted the Eversource rate proposal. There really has not been further action in the proceeding that would be for next year, but I think the implications are that on a longer term basis, you'll have what's equivalent to the Eversource rate or something less. With regard to the other matter, there's a proceeding with the gas companies about how they comply with the climate change law. And in the middle of that proceeding, the Department of Public Utilities said our policy is going to be that for new gas users, like people building new houses, that they would assign the cost of the gas line extension rather than assigning most of those costs to all customers. And National Grid has estimated that for a single family home to be around $10,000. So, and then subsequently, the gas company said, well, this is a problem procedurally because it's in the middle of the proceeding. You're supposed to have substantial evidence. So either tell us this is a final order, in which case we'll appeal it, or tell us that it's not a final order and it's still not finally decided. So the DPU subsequently issued a clarification that it's not a final order. But I think the clear implication is when when the proceeding is completed, it'll result in an order assigning those costs to new gas users. So, I'll provide that update. The other thing that's happened is that some of the federal tax credits for heat pump, I think it's $2,000. That's going away at the end of the year. So, and we did talk, I think, a little bit about that at the workshop. So, anyways, it's things have happened, and I'm going to provide that in an update. I think later on, we get a little bit closer to the hearing. I think maybe provide something subsequent that puts everything in context. But I think it's best to sort of finish up with this update process and provide that. I think I'd like to do that either later this week or early next week.
Sounds good, thanks.
All right, so that's all I have on green communities at this stage. Does anyone else have any comment or thought?
No.
If not, let's move on to climate change and climate science. Chris, you want to?
Yeah, sure, Barry. I admittedly don't have anything prepared, but I do want to ask a little bit more. Maybe we can connect offline about the ninth and the stretch code and what you want me to put in the presentation.
Yeah, we can do that.
We can talk on that.
I would say that I got some very positive feedback from both Chris's and Jane's presentations at the workshop.
Okay.
So congratulations on that. I have an item, Chris. So I went to a presentation on Saturday, I believe, at the Osterville Village Library, sponsored by the Barnstable Land Trust. And it was on climate change and climate resilience on Cape Cod. And I guess the assistant superintendent at Sandy Neck gave a presentation on the Sandy Neck program.
Parking lot project.
Yeah. And which I thought was good. So I think talking with Chris for us doing a project there, I think we're talking about maybe spring, not this year.
Right.
But I think Chris, maybe if I can get the material together, find it online, I'll convey that to you. I'm sure you'll be interested in looking at it. Maybe I'll send it to everybody on the committee.
I will say we're ended up doing a pro bono event under my Woods Hole hat for Chatham, and they are doing something with their town before their next hazard mitigation plan, and it's in tandem with the Climate Action Network out there, and we are doing a talk on Thursday. So we're doing like a low-lying roads presentation that's pulled from the work we did for Cape Cod Commission, talking a little bit about climate change, but I'm also curious to see how the event will go, because it's very much like their equivalent of this committee there that's helping host it. So I'll take some notes and see. And it's something that if my colleague did it for this, perhaps when he ran with the low-lying roads project, perhaps that's something we could kind of incorporate into and do a hyper-focused look, pro bono again for Barnstable. I mean, that could be something certainly that we could add to that. So I'll see how that goes and see how the workflow is of that day on Thursday.
Okay, just the sort of relevant to that, as part of this program I went to on Saturday, there was a film done on the issues of erosion and trying to protect against it at Morris Island, where they had severe erosion and buildings have been taken down. And I don't know if there's any building left there, actually.
Yeah.
I think maybe one guy's house, but yeah, there's been pretty severe erosion there.
Yeah.
So,
Great.
yeah.
So I'll give you
Okay.
guys notes next meeting about how this event went.
All right. Okay, anything else on that topic?
To touch on erosion real quick, different town in Eastham, but a colleague of mine has a property he's working with that 5 years ago in 2020 had 70, it was the house was 70 feet from the cliff. He was told in 2020 that it would probably erode at 3 to 5 feet a year. In 5 years, it's eroded at 58 feet.
Oh,
He's
wow.
down about 16 feet from the cliff. So it's in 1 year alone, he lost, I think it was 26 feet. So
Wow.
touch on erosion a little bit and how it's going to do its thing regardless.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, and I think,
Okay.
and we haven't really had any really severe storms for the last few years.
No.
I would hate to see what would happen if we have a really severe
Oh,
storm.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Just tough to put a number on it, I guess what you'd have to say.
Yeah.
Chris, I have a question that you may be aware of. It's been in the news the last couple weeks that there's some kind of a upwelling of cold water with nutrients that's, I think, down near the Caribbean that's not happened this year for one of the first times in, since it's been tracked. Are you aware of that? That it's a vertical mixing of water that brings more food up to the surface for marine mammals and stuff like that. I didn't know if it had anything to do with, I've heard about the Gulf Stream potentially being diverted. I don't know if they were related or not.
I'm not sure on that, Jane. I am aware, though, of what's happening. I don't know if you're aware in the Pacific Northwest, similar with the ocean currents and the warm blob that has shown back up, which is extremely concerning because that's where the cold kind of goes down the whole South Pacific coast or the Pacific
Right.
coastline out west. So I wonder if there's some kind of ocean current connection between the two.
I'll look for the reference and send it to you just to see what you think.
No, thanks, Jane.
Yeah, I just want to say I skipped over food waste because I knew Chris is time limited. I wanted to make sure we got to his topic. So let's go
John
over
is
to
too.
What? Oh, I didn't realize that.
John's time limited as well. Yeah.
Okay, John, take it away. John, you may be muted. All right. Jane, you want to go to air quality? Do you have anything to add here?
Well, I have a couple things that I've explored, a couple that are quite interesting, but I don't have an applicability locally yet, but there were two very big events. One was Wednesday last week. The National Academy of Sciences has taken under its umbrella a group that I helped start at NIH back in
Okay, there we go.
2011.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, Jane. Can you folks hear me now?
Yeah, go
Yeah,
ahead.
we can hear you now. Yeah.
You
Okay,
go
good.
first if
You
you're
still want me to still
Yeah,
go?
go ahead.
Okay, great. Took me a minute to figure out how to unmute my
Okay.
phone.
Yeah, I just
So,
gave it over to Jane. I didn't want a lot of dead
I could-
space.
I could hear you folks, but I couldn't do hand signals. So,
Okay, all right.
anyways, yeah, so not a whole lot to say on food waste other than I heard that that DPW has a new communications assistant. And so I was wondering if it would be possible to get them working on our communication plan for food waste collection at the transfer station.
What was that, John? A new what?
I heard a new, I'm not sure if I have the title correct, but basically that you have that you, Kelly, have a new assistant.
Yeah, well,
Is that not right?
Chris. Chris is my assistant. He's been here a year now, actually. He was here when I was out on maternity
Chris,
leave.
no, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I ran into someone named. It's funny that I probably have the title wrong. But the person that the way I found out, I ran into someone I know named Libby Jackson, who said that
Oh, yeah,
she's now
she's our
working.
intern.
She's an intern, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I was wondering if we have another resource, if it might be possible to get her working on our communication plan for food waste collection at the transfer station.
Yeah, so it's funny but not funny that you mentioned that, because we do have her working on some some storytelling content on for a number of topics, food waste being
Yeah.
one of them.
Mm-hmm.
But she primarily is an intern for the engineering office, so
Mm-hmm.
she really does have to focus on water resources and water quality.
Yeah.
She runs our new Barnstable Water Resources social media and our newsletter and everything, and we only have her for probably another month. But I did ask her, I can occasionally ask her to do some other DPW initiatives. We just have to be very careful with her time, because the way it is she's an engineering intern.
Yeah.
But I have asked her to prepare some content. So she is working on some things.
For food waste?
Yes, to support
Oh,
some of our
wonderful.
other programs, including food waste.
Okay. Oh, wonderful. Wonderful. Would it be helpful for me to communicate with her at all about sort of what the message that we're trying to convey is?
I mean, I've given her most of the materials, but if we can always touch base. We can always have a separate phone call or something if you'd want to do that.
Yeah, no, that's yeah, whatever you think. But I mean, if what you're saying to me is that we have if that we have somebody working on it, then that's fantastic.
Yeah, in a limited capacity. I'll be super
Yeah,
transparent about that, because like I said,
yeah,
she's an
yeah,
engineering intern. So
yeah,
she
yeah,
was specifically hired to do water resources content.
yeah,
Um, but like I said, I occasionally can get her to do some other stuff if she's got
yeah,
bandwidth. So I've given her
yeah.
a couple of larger programs that are run out from DPW, including food waste. Really anything environmental I can task her with. So that's how that kind
Mm-hmm.
of I was able to put
Yeah,
that on her plate.
yeah. The best way to try to move this forward is, but it sounds. I mean, if you feel like we have some way to make progress, maybe the best thing is to just see how far we go with this, and then see if we need additional after that.
Yeah, definitely. Yep.
Okay, that sounds good. That sounds good.
So,
That's really all I have.
so John, is there any update on the uh, the composting facility at the Joint Base that I think the 4 Upper Cape towns are working on?
Yeah, there is not. There's no update. There's just complete silence. And I pushed harder probably than I even should have, and enough to the point that I could clearly see that the people I was pushing were annoyed with me for pushing too hard. So I just backed off, and so I have just nothing to say about that.
Okay. But did you have any sense about once I guess they're doing a review, and once I guess there's an additional draft, or is there any point that it would be that you could look at it or we could look at it?
Well, that's exactly I mean, there is some report,
Yeah.
and they say that we can't. They're not willing to share it with us, or even to say why they're not willing to share it with us. And I was, a little. I mean, you know me. Hopefully, I don't think I was over the top about anything, but I was like, it could, sort of flabbergasted by that. And but they just, say that they're not willing to share it, and they'll let me know when they are.
Yeah, just from my experience, and this is not government
Yeah.
so much as the utility industry, had a committee, and we
Yeah.
did a report, and in draft form, we didn't circulate it, but once we were able to comment on it, and there was a a final
Yeah.
report, then it became public. So I don't know whether it's just that's what the issue is or something more than that.
Yeah, I really don't know.
Yeah,
I took your, Barry, sorry, Barry, you advised me to, you advised me to be patient, and I'm taking your advice. If we want to inquire further, I think it would be very helpful to have a different voice doing that,
got it.
because, so, that's where we are.
So Kelly, maybe, I don't know whether Rob or Dan or someone, higher level person, with the DPU could make an inquiry.
Yeah, we certainly can try. I know there was quite a few counselors who were really interested too,
Yeah.
that got brought up during, I don't know, I think it was public comment at some point. So that could also be another avenue. We can talk with Gordon.
Betty Ludke was
Betty,
very
yeah.
interested.
Yeah,
Might be another avenue.
yeah.
It's very odd that they're keeping it so close to the vest.
Yeah, I mean, if it's just a question of they're not comfortable circulating a draft that they haven't commented on that hasn't been revised yet, that's not too worrisome. If it's something more than that, I guess
Yeah.
it would be.
I don't know, but just to sort of where I understand the process is that they have released a report to the other four towns,
Okay.
Falmouth, Bourne, Sandwich, and the other one, and so there is a report, and it has been shared with other towns, but they're not willing to share it with me. Uh, one of the things a little frustrating is that what they said was, well, we're not willing to share it with the public. And I thought I was very clear that I was asking on behalf of a town-sponsored committee, but I don't know that they really understood that or sort of agreed with that. So someone with a more official capacity with the town probably would get a better response.
Maybe, I know Gordon's not here, but John, if you could just send me an email with the person or persons that you're dealing with or you think are the right people.
Sure, I'll do that. Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
talk to Gordon, what his thoughts are regarding next
Yeah.
steps.
I'll send you an email with sort of a status of where we are and contacting for the information for the people that we might reach out to.
Yep. I have a question. Wasn't this study funded by the Cape Cod Commission in conjunction with the cooperative extension? Because that should be a Cape-wide report.
Yeah,
When it's ready.
there was
When
there was
it's
a grant involved. Mhm. There was a grant involved, but this is these are county and I mean it's it is a Cape Cod Commission initiative, and so I was surprised that they would share it with some towns but not with others.
Well, and we do have a town representative on the commission.
Yeah, so and also you find whether
That'd be a good.
And she's
Yeah.
somebody who would be very interested in this topic.
yeah.
So
Well,
I can get you her
yeah.
name.
Yeah. Yeah, you could, I'd like to, maybe if you could send it to me as well, because I think we ought to discuss this with Gordon, because and get his input as to what to do.
Yeah.
I haven't looked at this for a while, but I was under the impression it was sponsored at the county level, but was paid for at the town level, but I may be wrong.
Oh,
I don't. There was a grant that they got,
Okay.
so it wasn't that the other towns had kicked in money, but they got a grant from somewhere, but I don't know where the grant came
Okay.
from.
All right. Okay. All right. Anything else, John, or?
No, that's it. That's it.
Okay. All right. Ron, technology and infrastructure.
Yes.
You're on.
I found out why I stopped getting communications back from Open Cape. I just found out today that the CEO either stepped down, I'm not sure, but as of August 21st, there's a new interim CEO. So I believe it was the CFO who stepped up. So I'm going to reach out to him to see if he has knowledge to speak on subject matter, or if he wants us to wait until maybe they appoint a new CEO. But that kind of answered the question as to why I stopped getting communications back from him. Secondly, I did reach out to the Broadband Equity Access and Deployment for Massachusetts to ask if somebody would speak at the state level. They referred me to the Barnstable Digital Equity Plan and the Cape Cod Commission. I just asked if somebody, because they said that, and they looped me in with someone who actually worked on from the commission the Barnstable Digital Equity Plan. And I asked if maybe somebody who worked on the plan could present and speak to it, since they did all the kind of research behind it. And then I haven't heard back from them. So it's a lot of follow-up after follow-up, which is fine. I know Barry and Jane, you're on the tech council as well, and I'm not sure if you've been looped in the emails as well for all the BEAD applications. I feel like every day we kind of get, or at least I do, get a new email on those.
I don't get all of them, but I was interested in the infrastructure presentation last Wednesday for the
Yes, for
group that
Wellfleet.
we're able to get Wellfleet.
Yeah.
I mean, it was kind of a do-it-yourself thing, and I was I was excited to hear they were able to get that broadband out there, but also I was also intrigued to hear his comments on how hard it is to go from being a committee with a good recommendation to actually getting the project done. And I think that's a Cape-wide challenge.
Absolutely. No, I think it goes for all the towns, Barnstable included.
I think that's almost an everywhere challenge.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, for sure. But the emails that I've been getting, I don't know if they've just looped me in because I've spoken with some of these people, but where Barnstable only has Comcast as a provider, essentially, for residential, and the only infrastructure provider in Comcast, they're the only ones who keep applying for these permits to expand in Barnstable. That qualifies Barnstable as an underserved area when it comes to internet infrastructure, and that opens up the town for state and federal funds. So I know GoNet Speed's going to be building things out, so I'm not sure if that affects the underserved, or if it keeps a portion of the town underserved, I would think, since it's only going to be in Hyannis in the beginning. But just interesting stuff to kind of be looped in on, and I find myself looking up a lot of these terms, but that's the information that I can kind of relay back, is that Barnstable, as of now, with only one residential internet provider, is an underserved area and qualifies for state and federal funds to improve. So I'll stay on top of that.
Okay.
And I'll keep
Appreciate
reaching out till somebody answers me and wants to come join us.
Thanks
Does
for
it-
being persistent.
Yeah, I
Absolutely.
appreciate it. Does anyone have any questions for Ron or comments? Okay, so thank you, Ron. New business, additional updates. I don't have any. Does anyone else?
Well, my only other point on air quality is I realized I got a letter actually from Kristen Turkelson, and she asked if I'd had any follow-up with the school district, because I was concerned last fall about their indoor air catastrophe in the grade 4 through 5 school, or 4 through 6 school. And apparently, from what they told her, is they did get air monitors from the person that I connected them to, who was going to loan them, but they weren't able to get back in touch with that person by phone. They never let me know they were having trouble, but they have since established an indoor air quality presence on their website, and they've hired a group that I haven't listened to the whole presentation, but it struck me that it was a surface cleaning group rather than an air monitoring group, once again, which is part of the story, but it's not all the story. So I need to get better educated on that. And, some of the webinars I've been on in the last couple weeks have more and more very good data about test scores in schools going up just with an improvement in air quality and nothing else. And also financial savings for schools, which K through 12 schools, public schools, are typically paid for by a capitation system where attendance is a key issue in terms of how they earn their money. And so the healthier your students are, not only are they going to perform better on tests, but you're going to get more money for your school district. So there's some really excellent peer-reviewed national research that I've been exposed to within the last week that, makes that issue even more important. And I can probably use some of it on the 9th, but I need to find out more about what has the school done, what is their new air quality program, because it's actually on their school website. And I got partway through the introduction by their new company that they've contracted with. So, baby steps, but some progress, it sounds like.
Okay. Good, thank you. The other thing, I don't know whether we had this on our agenda, but I'd like to establish the meetings for the rest of the year now that we're all together. Kristen, if you have time for this, a few more minutes.
I believe I sent them around in the email with the meeting minutes as well.
Okay, I'm looking at this. Actually, the dates were in the last meeting minutes that were sent out. So, okay. But Chris, I'll be sensitive to your schedule, and John may be as well. Why don't we circulate emails as to whether we can meet on those dates, or if not, which ones we can't, and maybe others that you can propose as alternatives. That'll give everyone time to refer to your calendars. And then at the next meeting, we can decide on the schedule for the rest of the year, although we do need a time for the next meeting, right? So normally we would meet Monday, October 6th. Is that
That's
are
good
people
for me.
okay?
That's good for
Okay.
me.
Works for me. I'm just gonna have to probably depart around 5:30. I have something at 6 that I need
Okay.
to attend in person, which is local, but I'll probably have to leave
Yeah.
around
Well,
5:30.
why not just
We
to
can always
be
do it earlier too if you guys wanted to do it at 4:30. I mean, I'm available. I don't know what everyone else's
Yeah.
schedule is, but I
let's-
figured
Yeah.
in light of Ron's schedule, if it's okay with everyone else, let's start at 4:30 on Monday, October 6th.
Thank you.
Good. Yeah, that's good.
Thank you.
that was an important one because that's ahead of the hearing. So
Yeah.
I'll confirm that. I'll get that up on the committee page and send everyone a calendar invite. And then I can, like you said, Barry, send around the other proposed dates and you all can talk about it through email and we can sort of solidify that on the 6th.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense. All right. Does anyone have anything for the good of the order here? If not, do I hear a motion to adjourn? All right.
Adjourn.
All in favor? We all
Right.
John, I assume you are, so we're going to adjourn. Thank you very much,
day.
and we'll
Everyone.
see everyone in a couple weeks.